So you know how it's been very difficult to buy a piece of property, buy a home at a reasonable rate in the last 4 years or so. Let's just say ever since the pandemic started, which was actually 4 years ago. Well, you got to wonder, why did that happen? Why was it so difficult? And obviously interest rates being low was the biggest reason. But as these rates were low, one thing that happened is big investors came in, and you hear about companies like BlackRock, that go in and swept up a whole bunch of properties during the pandemic, and then it was kind of driving the prices up. So we're going to dissect a little bit what happened to these companies. Truly, are they the reason why prices are so high right now? And will anything change? The first thing I'm going to say about this is about the free market economy, because in this market where we live in North America, I live in Florida, Sarasota, Florida, this is a free market. So the supply and demand plays a big role in the pricing of goods and services, including homes and condos and land and all of that. So if there's a big demand from corporations to purchase, then is that fair? Because some would say they have an unfair advantage. I would say that you can raise your own money and you can do the same thing they're doing. And by the way, my name is Machek Zaremba. I'm a real estate agent since 2004 in Sarasota, Florida. And I am currently in Braden River Park. I'm currently walking in the conservatory area because there's a whole bunch of baseball fields here and kids are playing ball. It's Saturday morning, so they're all out there playing ball and practicing, and parents are out there to support everyone. But let's get back into our articles today and the whole idea of investors buying up everything, because there is a big misconception, and people are, when they talk about investors are buying up things, they're thinking that it's some like crazy companies like BlackRock, which by the way is a publicly traded company. I think their ticker symbol is BLK, I believe, which you can invest into BlackRock, and quite frankly their stock has not been performing like the rest of the stock market in the last decade or so. So I'm not really sure what's happening. I don't know their business model too well. I do know they did purchase a lot of homes, and I'm sure that they took out really low interest rates on that stuff, but they're not actually the culprits of all these prices rising. The investors are anyone that owns 2 or more homes, because obviously if you own 2 houses and you rent one out, well, you're an investor into one of those homes. And we do live in a free market economy, so they should be free to do that. But right now we're having lawmakers trying to pass some laws that would prevent this from ever happening again, from basically preventing companies and corporations from sweeping up and buying up all the real estate out there, which I'm not sure if I agree with. But of course, these are Democratic officials that are trying to push this. So it kind of makes sense, because they're more about protecting everyone and not allowing everyone to thrive at their own pace. Nice, take a look. I just walked up to this little bank here. Nice little place to throw in your kayak. Lots of nature here. Ah, it's so beautiful. So this article that I'm seeing, one of the things they're saying is that Democrats in the U.S. Senate and House have sponsored legislation that would force large owners of single-family homes to sell houses to family buyers. Look, I really wholeheartedly disagree about this. You can't force a company to sell assets. You allow them to buy it, right? You had rules to allow them to buy it, and then now because they got really smart about it, you're trying to propose legislation to reverse that. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that it's fair to punish people and companies. And mind you, only a very small portion are companies like BlackRock. Most of the corporate purchases are small people like you and me, just like, with 2, 3, 4, 10 properties, maybe up to 100, okay? But still, these are just regular people out there. So you allowed people to purchase properties, and then now all of a sudden you're changing your mind and you're saying, no, 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 people are complaining too much, that houses got too expensive, so we need to reverse that. Well, you know, let me ask you, where were you during the 80s when prices were dropping so badly because no one had the opportunity to buy because interest rates were double digits? Where were you stopping people from buying then? Damn, it's nice in Florida. I gotta tell you, I love living here. So that's on a national level, but also states are getting involved and trying to do their own thing. Obviously, states like Nebraska, California, New York, the usual suspects, and Minnesota and North Carolina are proposing similar law changes. They are basically disincentivizing people from investing into real estate. And you know, the mindset behind these legislators is that they've scooped up too many homes, that these investors have scooped up too many homes. They're saying they scooped up hundreds of thousands of houses to rent out, and it's contributing to driving the home prices up. And obviously, higher demand will do that. But the thing is that we're probably not going to see, you know, 0% Fed rate anytime soon, or maybe ever in our lifetime. Right now we're at 5.25, 5.5%, but they were literally at 0% when this was happening. So all the people did, and it's not just the large companies, it's also the small people, is they purchased a home. Maybe they bought a cash, and then immediately after did a cash out refinance, and then took that money and bought the next home. And they would just keep doing that until they finally run out of money or run out the ability to take loans out. So this trend has obviously taken a major stop or slowdown, because we're not anywhere close to the interest rates of making this affordable and even a viable business venture. So it's like too little too late. If you're on the side of the Democrats where you want these changes to happen, I'll say too little too late. You didn't make the changes when you should have. You're making the changes now when no one is going to be doing it anyway. And the only times that they will purchase these properties are when they're seriously distressed at a major price drop. So you're kind of looking at flippers now that are going to get affected by this kind of legislature. I don't think that's fair. I think it should be a free market economy. You know, we live in a democracy where we vote in these elected officials, and I don't think anyone who was trying to build a real estate portfolio was voting for these kinds of changes that these Democrats are currently proposing. And look, nothing is in law. They're just trying, right? This is just the beginning of the conversation. But you know, all the law changes that do happen start with a conversation. So at this point in time, we're at the beginning stages of something that could drastically impact the real estate market and also the real estate prices. Now, if you don't know, real estate, whenever a piece of property is sold, you know, it ends up helping out like 30 people down the line, because there is a realtor, there's a lender involved, they're making money, then there's a title company or an attorney, they're making money, then there's the the insurance companies that are writing the title policies, and then there's the regular home insurance, then there's the flood insurance company, then there's all the remodels and all the remodelers and all the laborers. There's just so much, right? Then there's the Home Depot selling the products, and the Lowe's and so on, and the people, you know, making sod. I mean, everyone. There's so many people affected down the line whenever a home is sold. And right now, not how many homes are selling, but they're trying to propose something to stop them from buying. So by default, there will be less sales. And they're thinking, you know, their mindset is, well, if we put a pause and a stop to making it so easy to acquire thousands of properties, which very few people are acquiring thousands of properties, then they're thinking that regular people will buy. But I think the reality is that prices have to drop significantly in order for that to happen. And I'm not seeing them drop. They're barely dropping at all. Now, inventory is rising, don't get me wrong. And I bet you if interest rates fall right now from 5.5%, meaning the Fed fund rate, down to 0 overnight, which, you know, you never know, it could happen, then I think someone is going to come in and offer on every single property, just sweep everything up, get those loans, and once they have those loans, they have super low interest rates and they have a profitable business model. Now let's take a look at this chart in terms of what kind of investors actually picking up properties. So as you can see here near the right side of the chart, you see that blue line right on top? Those are investors that own between 10 and 99 properties, homes or doors. And you know, I fall into that one, right? Just barely, but I do fall into that category. And sure, I would buy something if the numbers were right, but this is not institutional large money, BlackRock, you know, or anything like that. These are just people like you and me. These are not formulas on a spreadsheet talking, right? And it looks like it was only in the second quarter of 2023 that some of these, you know, giant 1,000 plus home companies, as they're labeling them, had last acquired quite a few properties, because the interest rates went above 7% then. It was just like not a good deal anymore, you know? And obviously they've stopped the buying. The smaller people started buying up more because they were getting priced out by all the big money. And now they're trying to propose legislature to stop them, but this chart obviously shows that they've already stopped. Right? Like they're done. They've acquired the properties they want to acquire. So why are you trying to propose legislature that will reduce home prices nationally? Because the demand will not come back from those 1,000 plus companies. Also, if I had a 1,000 or more properties under one company, I would diversify into different companies, you know, and I would have an attorney draft all the paperwork to make it a separate entity, and I would keep everything at, you know, 500 properties or something. So these charts are just one metric that you can show everyone, but you can just structure things a little differently. Paperwork differences will create completely different charts. So this is just dumb. Do you think that investment companies shouldn't be allowed to buy properties? And if you think that, then let me ask a follow-up question. Do you think that investment companies shouldn't be able to build homes? And if you don't think investment companies should build homes, then who the hell is going to build homes? Who's going to build condo buildings for $100 million, you know, or 50 million or 20 million or whatever? Who's going to build rental apartment buildings? You know, we have tons of rental apartment buildings being built right now in our area. Sarasota, Bradenton, Venice, you name it. There's so many that are going to hit the market. Now rent prices will come down because of that. But, you know, who's going to build that if you don't think that there should be a free economy, a free market for residential housing? Do you agree with this kind of legislature? Is this like what Democrats are going to vote for? You're going to vote to support large companies or even small investors from acquiring more than a certain amount of single-family homes or duplexes or anything? I'm not down with that. I think we should let the free market reign. I am not one of them, but I'm trying to be, you know. And if you want to try to be a big rental guy, then reach out to me. Be glad to share all the, you know, everything I can with you. All my contact is below, but just email me, sarasota@sarasota.com.